Welcome back to the Healthy Commute. I'm Dr. Dan with Dr. Pascal. So today we want to dive in because I don't know about you, but these last few days, I've really had a lot of questions come up from patients, especially since we've been in this code red since last week. And the biggest thing is, how is this code red affecting our overall health and wellness?
Absolutely. I mean, it's eerie times for everybody, and I think some other provinces and other people have probably gone through this sooner because they had higher cases. And in Manitoba, it's really just been the past few months. And I know we've been, different phases of lockdown, but now we're really in a pretty significant lockdown where there's really nothing to do and nowhere to go.
Right.
And so the default is at home, right? And with technology, you've got tons of information at your fingertips, and people simply aren't moving very much. And so it's not just movement, though. There's a number of ways that, this code red is really affecting our overall, not only physical health, spiritual health, mental health, emotional, everything. So we kind of just wanted to address a few of those aspects and how it's affecting us, but most importantly, give people tips, things that you can start doing at home, simplicity, simple things to try to mitigate the effects, really.
Well, I think what you talked about, number one, is people are not moving the way they are or they normally would. But I think where the core of all of this comes down to is routine. Yeah. So people's routines are completely out of whack. They're working either from home or they're working in a different capacity. The gyms aren't open. There's no activities for the kids. So you're
not visiting anybody.
You're not
no
visiting
social
anyone,
interaction.
no social. So there's a lot of couch sitting.
Yeah.
There's a lot of TV watching. There's a lot of phone use. So we're just stuck. And what does those positions or that stuck position affect our minds, affect our bodies?
Yeah.
So it affects really everything. And we're seeing more and more, pressure, stress, tightness into the shoulders, the neck, headaches, not sleeping well. So all this stuff, I think, is a lot of it is coming down to what people are doing or what they're not doing.
Right. And if we go back even to like one of our very first podcasts where we talked about, this was pre-COVID, we talked about this type of sitting and rounding posture, and they were starting to study it more and more, and the effects on health, right? So these physical effects, if nothing else, if we didn't even talk about the emotional stress of COVID and what it's imposing on people, if we look at the emotional aspects of sitting, they're significant. Remember, decreased memory, right? Just overall higher levels of depression, feeling like, I don't want to use the word failure, but not having the faith that you can come through things and so on and so forth. So that sedentary posture is really going to affect your brain's capacity to also deal with a lot of this negative information coming in. Right? So we need to move.
Yeah,
so
we need to move. So
one of the things we'll talk about.
So today we want to go through 5 things that you can easily implement in your daily life to, at the very least, regain some control, if you want to call it, over your health and wellness. Okay.
Yeah.
So the first thing that we want to address is routine. So most people have lost the normal routine, and without structure, I know maybe it's more for me, but I need a structure to be able, so everything could kind of fit in, and I could have even more of a clearer purpose or vision exactly what we need to do. So the first thing that I definitely think people should do is to set up some form of a routine. Even the fact of getting up, let's say, at a certain time. Like let's say if you're working from home or you're taking, for students taking classes at home, they may say, oh, I'll just wake up whenever, as opposed to before, let's say they would need to get up at a certain time, get to class, catch the bus, get a ride, whatever. But now it's just, oh, I'll just stay in my PJs endlessly. Yeah. So start to create a routine. Wake up at 8 or 7 or 9 or whatever, but just create a habit of creating some kind of a routine into your day. So get up, take a shower, get going. Right? Like it's all those little things that we need to get back into our day. Maybe change, put on some clothes.
Yes.
And to get out of your PJs. So to enable your body to kind of know, oh, there's something coming. I need to get ready for this. I'm, put on some makeup for the ladies. I know today when a patient said, I put on makeup for the first time to come see you. I'm so happy. So whatever it is to create that routine into your day.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's important. And Tim Ferriss talks about this a lot on his podcast, the routines, and even something as simple as making your bed. And that's one that I have implemented over and over and over again. For me, that simple task is like starting my day off right. I have to do that. And then it's like a chain reaction from there. So find the simplest little things, make them routine to add structure to your day every single day.
Yeah.
Okay. then the next one is going to be the setup, right? Because how many people are working from home? I don't know the exact stats, but a lot of them. We see plenty of people in our office every week, and I would say 75% of them are working from home right now, right? 75% or so.
Yep.
And so let's face it, not many people have a proper ergonomic setup at home. Like no one was ever expecting to have this proper home office. If you've got a government job, a big company job, no one was ever expected to have these types of full-time duties at home. And so people go from sitting in, ergonomic office chairs, potentially better desks, keyboard setups, to mostly laptops and kitchen counters.
Yeah.
Right? And so I think this is the biggest problem for us as health professionals or chiropractors in the effects it's having on someone's alignment, spine, posture, pain, physical function. It's that laptop, right?
So what's the biggest thing that someone could do at home for their setup when knowing that they're not going to have their desk, they're not going to have the proper chair? So what could they do without those things at home?
Yeah, I don't know if I could say there's one thing in particular, but there's a bunch of different things depending on what's available to you. Number one, a great option is to tether, your laptop to a different screen. Like use like maybe your flat screen TV as your monitor, right? Because with the laptop, the way that you're typing, you're having to look down. It's inevitable, right? So that constant position of looking down strains the neck, strains the muscles, strains the ligaments, the nerves. So, use your computer, your laptop as a keyboard, look at a large screen TV. That could be one.
Or the opposite is raise your laptop and have an external keyboard that you could use on the kitchen table or whatever, so that you're in the same respect, you could have a better position overall.
Absolutely. And if you're going to do something like that too, obviously standing is always preferable over sitting.
Yeah.
So if you've got a bar top or something fairly high at home that you could work from, choose that, right? Choose a standing position over a sitting position. It's going to be better for your overall spine in terms of stress response.
Yeah.
Okay?
But I think partly, just to maybe talk about the setup, is that like when we really step back, if you're working from home and you're getting from out of bed and going to the kitchen table, you've walked, let's say, 30 steps. Whereas before, you would have gotten ready in the morning, let's say got in your car or the bus or whatever, walked, got to work, went up the stairs, so there's movement that you didn't even know existed prior, and now you're taking 30 steps to the kitchen table. So again, talking about that routine, is there something else that you can do before even getting to work in terms of creating that routine? Is we need to just move a little bit more. So putting that before we get on further there.
And then part of that would be then, all the more important would be to take breaks throughout the day. And I know we would talk about this a lot in an office setting. Every 30 minutes, take 30 seconds. It's as simple as 30 seconds to do an exercise. And I think sometimes people would say, well, maybe I work in a cubicle. I don't want my neighbors in the cubicles to see me doing postural exercises, or maybe I don't have the same liberty to walk to the bathroom or just to get up and move. But now at home, guess what? You likely have the ability to control your spinal hygiene habits or your ability to move throughout the day. So now more than ever, it is so important and the best time to do what we call 30-30.
Yeah.
So every 30 minutes, set a timer on your phone or on your computer. Every 30 minutes, stop and do 30 seconds of exercise. Okay.
And what I've found, especially talking to a few patients that have started doing that, the important part of that is when you're setting up a timer for 30 minutes, that when that timer rings, you hit repeat.
Right.
You don't want to stop it and then start over again, because if not, you could forget about it.
100%.
Or then it's 3 hours later and you're like, oh, I forgot. So literally hit repeat, so that throughout the day, every 30 minutes, you're going to get a ring. And it could be as small as getting up and sitting back down. But you have to do something to change your position. So if you're standing, doing a walk, stretch a calf, do whatever it takes to do a little bit of movement.
And to make it really easy for you guys, because of this, we've implemented the exercise of the week. So you can go to our YouTube page and then just Google Linda Woods Chiropractic. Every week we're coming out with a new exercise. So very simply put, if you don't want to have to think about what to do, take that exercise and do it repetitively, 5 days a week throughout all your breaks. Do that exercise. By the end of the week, you'll be sick of it.
You'll get a new
one next week. But honestly, it'll be a great way to build, and you'll learn, and then eventually you'll have this repertoire of all these different exercises, simple things that you can do at home to improve your posture, strengthen, move your body, so on and so forth, all at the same time.
And the exercise of the week is on our website as well. So LindenWoodsChiropractic.com. At the top tabs, you'll see exercise of the week. Click that, and that will be there. Now, number one was a proper routine, setting up a routine. Number two was the setup, in terms of how you're doing it. Number three was 30-30, so getting up every 30 minutes for 30 seconds. But number four is we need to go outside. We need to go walking outside. Gyms are closed, we're not doing the right exercise, or some of you I'm sure are having proper setups, but we need to move. We're not getting outside, getting any vitamin D. So right now it's still mild here in Winnipeg.
Yeah.
So use this time wisely to, whether it's at your normal coffee breaks at, let's say, 10:30 and 2:30, go outside for a 15-minute walk. At lunch, if you can, a 15-minute walk. At night, what we're doing, we have a dog, so we go out every night, but whether implement a family time walk or something that you can still get outside and move.
And honestly, maybe walking, maybe you'd rather run. If you're someone that wants to get a little bit more vigorous activity, then go running. I used to always gripe about the cold, and I'm not a fan. But with everything being shut down, it's a very simple way to get some exercise. And so I've been forcing myself, cold, windy, it's still mild, but yes, to me it's cold, but I've been forcing myself to get out there and run 2-3 times a week and get outside. And I'll notice such a huge shift from before I went on that outside walk or that run. When I come back, the world has changed. Right? Your perspective, it's like this crazy perspective shift. I'm stressed thinking about all these things, and all of a sudden I get back from the walk or the run, it's like life couldn't be better, right? And it's so just that way to decompress, change your mind, be outside, get some fresh air, so good for physical and mental health.
Now, yes, if you have a treadmill downstairs and you say, well, Doc, why can't I just go walking
Not
outside?
the same.
That's great. You could use that as, let's say, an option. But what we're saying right now is we're not going outside, especially if people are working from home. There's no hockey at night. There's no activity. You could literally not leave your house for probably a week straight if you've got your groceries. You could literally not even open the front door. So what we're saying here is for a little bit, at least on a daily basis, if not 2-3 times a day, physically get your jacket on and go outside.
You will be very grateful and thankful that you did. Okay, so that was number 4, was go outside and walk or run outside, be outside. Number 5 is talk to someone. And this is important, I think, for everybody, but probably more importantly, even for those who live alone. Right? I mean, the social isolation is very, very challenging. I don't think we were meant to live in a closed environment, never see anybody, never talk to anybody. So call somebody, right? And then this doesn't mean texting, this doesn't mean emailing. Truly physically talk to someone, call them up on the phone and have a conversation. I bet you that person that you call will be very excited to talk to you because they're probably feeling the same thing and going through the same, I guess, emotional hardships. And
usually, the best way to help yourself is to help somebody else. So when you're calling, you're checking in, you're trying, what can I do to help this person? Whether it's to smile, to remember great times that you've had, or what good times you will have. But it's that communication, that reconnection, because that I think is a huge thing that we're all lacking. Is that community feel, that connection with friends, family, even coworkers, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So again, to go through the 5 things, just to reiterate, very simple things to try to create some balance and some structure in your life. Number 1, speaking of structure, is the routine. Try to create some structure, even though you're working from home and you're not leaving. Build a routine throughout the day. That way you have something to stick to. Number 2 is talked about the setup on a computer or your office setup at home. Get it to be as ergonomic as possible. If you're unsure what that is, call us, email us, check in with us. We can help you here with more tips in the office because it might be unique for everybody's situation. Number 3, move repetitively throughout the day. So every 30 minutes, so set that timer every 30 minutes, get up and do 30 seconds of exercise, whether it's a stretch, a walk, or our exercise of the week. Number 4 is get outside, walk every day or go for a run. And then number 5 is make sure you talk to someone and check in with somebody and see how they're doing.
So hopefully those 5 things could help you a little bit combat that code red and how that's affecting your overall health and wellness. And again, if there's any questions, concerns, or help we could do, we are here to help. So you can reach out to us at 204-474-1159. And if not, or if you do, or we'll talk to you soon. But we hope that you enjoy the rest of your healthy commute.